We are certainly doing an enormous amount of things at the moment, and sometimes you wonder if it's controlled growth or hanging onto a runaway train. But all over the world, we've got new assets and new resorts. In Europe, we've just acquired a resort in Crete. We bought it just outside Agios Nikolaos, which is in the north east end of the island. It's 25 apartments, beautiful location, right on the beach. I think when I went to see it recently, I realized two things. That when I first agreed to buy it a year ago, I didn't realize how beautiful and spectacular it was. And I also was being over-ambitious into how long it would take us to get it ready. Because, to be honest, it's going to take about a year. We're currently doing a total new renovation program on it and refurbing it and doing all the units up, adding features like a spa. There's a cave temple at the back, which actually goes quite deep into the ground. And we're going to put a fitness center in a gym. We're going to have a yoga center there and quite a lot of things. That'll be ready for occupation next year, next spring, probably the Greek Easter around about that time. Elsewhere in Europe, our resort in Carcassonne we're currently renovating. That'll be ready again next year. And as you may know, that's going to be a glamping resort. So as well as having the main chateau, which will be renovated and done up and with bedrooms and common areas and bars and a wine cellar, hopefully a bit like this one. We're also in the garden going to have a lot of glamping units. So very high quality tents, which have got air conditioning, which have got fridges, which have got fantastic bathrooms and kitchen facilities, which will be dotted around the garden. So we think it's going to be a very attractive combination of being able to maybe spend in the main bedroom or maybe spend time out in the tent in the woods, especially if you've got kids and family, but still have the facilities of a normal five-star property with restaurants and bars. Because a lot of people, particularly in France, had a holiday when they were younger of actually of going camping. Elsewhere, as you know, probably our German property, we've been renovating the apartments to a very high standard, and that will continue with the whole resort. Here in England, we are very pleased to have done an equity deal with the Sanctum group, and so now the London property is called Karma Sanctum, which sits in Soho. And our plan is, with that same platform, to develop Karma Sanctum resorts all over the world. They all have a rock theme. Our partners in it are rock musicians and people involved in the rock industry. So we're looking at a site in South Beach, Miami at the moment, where I was quite recently, which I think would be ideal. Also over in Los Angeles, in West Hollywood, which I think would be ideal, and New York, which I think also would fit into the genre of being really, what we're trying to do is to create a little like hard rock cafe or hard rock hotels without the Disney element, without being rude to Disney. So an authentic feel. We think there's a big gap in the market for that. We also in Bali are taking one of our sites that we call the Stiff Chili Land, and that's going to become a Karma Sanctum property. And we're very proud on that one that our partner, our rock royalty, as we like to call them, is Roger Taylor, who is the drummer of Queen, who many of you know or grew up with, as I did, and also Pat Cash, who's a very famous tennis player. He's joining us to be the fitness ambassador and to drive a spa there. So we think that's going to be a very interesting angle. And to a certain extent, it goes back to my roots. I started in the music business back in the early 80s, and it's quite nice to reconnect with a lot of people in the industry again. And it's funny in life how some things go in a circle. And as we always say, we're in the entertainment business, not in the lodging business. So it's good to get him back in that area. Going back to other new developments, we're currently negotiating in Bulgaria, in Bansko, and we hope to close the deal on that very soon, in the next few weeks. Bansko is a ski resort in the south of Bulgaria, and I think it's going to be very successful for a number of reasons. Bulgaria itself is a vastly undervalued country. It's beautiful, it's very cheap, it's very well priced compared with everywhere else in the EEC, and it's got mountains and sea, it's got skiing, it's got culture and castles and wildlife and wild bears and all sorts of stuff. And Bansko in the south is equidistant actually between the capital Sofia and Thessaloniki in the north of Greece. So the biggest amount of consumers that go there are actually Greek. So although the resort is in Bulgaria, we kind of almost view it as a bit of a Greek resort. It's a ski resort. The skiing is extremely good in the winter, and in the summer it has river rafting, trekking, mountain biking, all sorts of other activities. And we found in Germany at our resort in Schliersee that we were quite surprised. We expected the ski season to be very, very popular and the summer to be less so. It's actually the other way round. The summer is the peak season there, and we think the same thing will be true in Bansko. And another interesting thing is, For our Asian consumers, it's incredibly convenient because you can fly in on Emirates or Qatar or Etihad straight from the Gulf. It's the closest part of Europe to there. It's by the Black Sea. It's relatively cheap and cost effective to get there. And once you're in Sofia, there's a lot of infrastructure going in, paid for by the EEC, like in a lot of these countries. So there's a superhighway now to the resort in an hour and a half, and the superhighway continues down to Thessaloniki soon in an hour and a half. What that means is that our Greek clients and owners, and as you may know, we're doing a lot in Greece, will be able to go there quite easily and frequently as well. And the other thing on it, I guess, which is important to understand, the other reason why we like it, is because it's an all-year-round resort, but it will bracket itself with Crete. So when Crete's quiet, we can move, whether it be management or some of our human resources or assets, up to Bansko and vice versa. So the two things will work very well together. Another thing in Greece, which is very interesting, is in Mykonos. We have owned a villa there, Pedikanos, for many, many years, and we recently bought the piece of land next to it and applied for and now have provisional approval to essentially knock it down and turn it into a 35-bedroom hotel. This, I think, will be a very exciting project. It's going to be several years off. We're currently doing the plans for it. But I do believe that a very luxurious boutique-style hotel in Mykonos will be very successful for us. And it's personally an island which I love going to, and I spend a lot of time there each year. Moving elsewhere, that's our Europe plans. Asia continues to thrive and be extremely successful for us. In India, we're looking at some new sites, particularly in the north, in Manali, which we like the look of a lot. We think the hill stations are going to be very, very successful, and not only is it magnificent scenery with the Himalayas, or Himalayas, I should say, in the background, but it's also got river rafting and skiing and all sorts of stuff going on there. In Goa, we are busy renovating Hati Mahal, and the units in the gardens will all be done within a year from now. Over in Asia, Vietnam opened not long ago, and that's proven to be hugely successful. I think one of our only problems with Vietnam is it's too small. The demand from owners and outside clients is enormous. It's in Hoi An, which is a magnificent little village. It's UNESCO heritage listed, and it's everything you imagine Vietnam to be. It's got fantastic food, and unbelievably cheap food and wine. If you excuse me a second. Talking of wine. And it's a fantastic culture. As I say, it's like you imagine Vietnam to be, but often isn't. We want to get more in Vietnam. We think that's a country with a fantastic future. We also very much want to get a property in Cambodia. Cambodia is a beautiful country as well, and it works very well with Vietnam, because what we see consumers wanting to do, and us providing, is a 2 or 3 stop holiday. So you wouldn't necessarily spend 2 weeks in Hoi An or Cambodia, but you may spend 5 days in Hoi An, 5 days in Angkor Wat, which is where we're looking, Siem Reap, which are the amazing Khmer ruins, which are quite Indiana Jones-like. Some of them are stuck in the jungle with creepers going over the top, and you worry about some sort of snake coming up, but fantastic place. And we also want to look into Laos and Myanmar. So our goal will be in the next few years to have 4 or 5 boutique-style resorts that people will go on a grand tour around several of them during their stay. Elsewhere in Asia, very excited about Palawan. You may know that we bought land there, I don't know, 12 years ago, a long, long time ago, and we've been hibernating that. But now Puerto Princesa has an international airport, it's booming, and our land is located only, I'd say, half an hour from downtown. The beach itself is being developed. There are small backpackery things going up and shacks, so we think that'll be developed soon. Elsewhere, Hakuba in Japan, again an asset I bought quite a number of years ago. It's a ski resort, it's on the main ski slope. Hakuba has also been hibernated, and this is a deliberate strategy that we often do, which is take assets when they become available, usually because the price is good or the circumstances are good, sit on them and wait for the market to catch up. I mean, I have a certain saying myself that God is not making great beachfront anymore, and if we find a piece of land which is in a beautiful location on a beach or by the side of a mountain, I kind of view it that if we don't make money out of it now, then our people that run the company in the future, or sons or grandsons or someone else, certainly will. So if you can find good assets in real estate or in property, and you can afford to buy them and sit on them, and you wait for the time to develop them. Elsewhere, Bali continues to thrive. We're currently building more at Kandara. The resort has been one of our most successful ever. One of the exciting plans there is that we're going to be building down on the beach. We've got the beach club at the moment and we're doubling the size. We got approval to build on the other side of the beach club. So that's going to be a much larger facility. We're putting in a pool down there. We're putting in a sushi bar, a rock bar, all sorts of fun things. And to cope with the increased traffic, we're putting another travelator in. Some of you that have been there will have noticed that there's a certain limitation on how many people can come and go based on going up and down that hill. You can walk. It's 360 steps. I've done it. It's not possibly the best thing to do 12 o'clock in the afternoon on a hot sunny day, but an extra travelator will certainly make things a lot easier. So those are, I suppose, some of the key things that I can think of. There's many other developments that we're looking at around the world. We're very keen to get involved in the Caribbean. We're looking at a project in Anguilla, and we're looking at various things over there. Very keen to get involved down into South America, and we have various opportunities in Brazil that we're looking at. So I think my mind has changed a lot over the years, that we do very much view ourselves as a global company, both in terms of the consumers and people we talk to and work with, and definitely in the terms of where our resorts are going to be. I mean, the world is totally changing and becoming a very small place. And our goal very much is over the next few years to acquire land, acquire resorts, acquire existing hotels or properties all over the world. So we have a truly global and international portfolio. I think we're different in many ways, to be honest. I mean, one could, at an outside quote, that might be the quality of our resorts or the quality of our offerings or as a company, but it goes much deeper than that. I often say, and when I was speaking recently at an event, I don't see ourselves in the accommodation business. You know, we don't see ourselves as a standard hotel or holiday ownership or fractional ownership or real estate company. We don't see ourselves as a provider of somewhere to sleep. We don't see ourselves particularly as a standard real estate firm as a provider of investment property. We're very much what we believe in the entertainment business. And what do I mean by that? Well, I think my job is, and everyone's job in the company is to provide an entertainment for our clients. And whether it be they come to stay for us for one night, whether they become a member of one of our clubs, whether they invest in property with us, it doesn't matter. Our job is to provide an entertainment experience, not only the whole time that they're with us, but also other times of the year. I mean, I got involved in this business not because I was a hotelier, or not because I was a salesman, or not because I was a marketer. When I was in the music business, I was very much a consumer of resorts, and I've still got a passion for the romance of hotels and resorts, and the fact that I go there and I want to be entertained. So when we have clients stay with us, it's all about what we call the toys, or the things that provide the sex appeal. It might be the spas, which we are passionate about, of having great spas which are different from the vanilla normal spas. They have treatments which are alternative. It might be White Witch, it might be sort of Reiki, or various different funky treatments. We use very organic products, and we go out of our way to make sure they're very eco-green, ethical, what have you, but our spas are a very strong thing. It might be our beach clubs. We're quite a passion about beach clubs and providing an entertainment experience with great DJs, great music, great wine and cocktails and food in an ambiance which is all inclusive. Well, all inclusive for people to be there, not necessarily all inclusive in the price. We love restaurants. We pride ourselves on having a fantastic restaurant experience, whether they be small wine bars like a Veritas, or whether it be a large restaurant like De Mare. We want to have top chefs and what have you. Kids clubs. As a father myself, I know how vital it is that kids are looked after on holiday or when they're staying. And I actually have a pet hate of two sorts of resorts, if I'm honest. I have a pet hate of resorts which are child intolerant. Whether I'm with children, I don't want to feel embarrassed if they're sort of wading in some ornamental pool that's supposed to be an architectural statement and the staff sort of sneering at them, because kids will be kids. But also I have a hatred of resorts that are too child inclusive, so that I feel I'm in some sort of kids camp and you can hardly eat or drink for kids running around and making a noise and what have you. So I think with us we've tried very hard to be the right balance, that we have the Three Monkeys Kids Club, that kids can be involved and have a fantastic experience with separate clubhouses, or dens as we call them, which are away from the adults. We provide all sorts of activities which are not electronic based, which is another pet hate. So whether it be on the beach or going to see local charities or feeding the elephants or whatever it is, there's a whole platform of experiences. Because kids are happy, and then you're happy. It's very simple. Or maybe it's even further. If kids are happy, then your wife's happy, and then you're happy. So I think it's a vital part of a resort to look after kids. There was an advert some time ago that we ran that may amuse you, and the picture was a couple on the beach having a lunch, and there was food on the table. Then in the background, in the soft shot, was some kids running into the sea, and there was one of those water rides, and the strap line was something along the lines of, and I paraphrase slightly, something along the lines of, to them, it's a banana boat ride. To you, it's a second bottle of rosé, an afternoon in bed. And to a certain extent, I think that encapsulates it. You want to keep the kids happy, so you're happy. So going back to my point of the entertainment, we run bands, and we run DJs and events, and we do fashion shows. We spend a lot of time and effort being involved in the sports world. We sponsor England Sevens, we sponsor the Western Force, we're involved with basketball. Away from our resorts, we view our relationship with our clients as being key. We go far, far, far further than most companies do in understanding, well, believing, I would say understanding, it sounds arrogant, but believing that if we can develop a relationship with our clients, and we have almost 100,000 member families in our various clubs, then it means being there for them the whole year. So whether it be customer services, or whether it be doing sports events, like having a box at the rugby in Twickenham, or the sports pub, the rugby pub in Twickenham, whether it be running wine tastings in Hong Kong, whether it be going to Perth and doing fashion shows, or oyster shucking events, whatever it may be. We want to look after people, give people value the entire year round. We believe that adds loyalty, it adds a lot of value, and we do think it's a lifestyle. We think that the Karma philosophy that we put around, whether it be in our resorts, whether it be in our F&B offerings, whether it be in our approach to philanthropy, is something that people like, and we are very honoured and proud to have so many owners, and so I like to go out of my way to over-deliver. Karma Club is very interesting. It all started really that we were sitting around having a discussion, myself and some friends and colleagues and what have you, and really said, look, we have a lot of people that like our brand and what we offer, but only experience it in a short amount of time. And yes, we have databases and all sorts of things, but people got bombarded in their life with all sorts of offerings. So is there a way that we can engage with people better that come across us and say we like it? And what people do I mean? Well, it might be people that come to our beach club just for the day. They're staying somewhere else, they've never heard of us, but they turn up and they go, wow, this is great, you know, great DJ, bar, beach, cocktail, love it, best beach bar in Bali, fantastic, thanks a lot. And they write something in the book and off they go. It might be that someone comes to our rugby pub in London that goes to see a rugby game and loves the offering. It might be someone that we talk to in some other forum, or maybe comes across us in Rottnest, for instance, comes over for the day, doesn't stay at our resort but comes and have a massage or has a coffee. Could be very simple. So we thought, is there a way that we could create a product which gave people a sense of ownership that cost very little, there was a low entry level, and enabled them to have some benefits. And clearly, to be totally, without me sounding Machiavellian, for us it's a fantastic marketing tool, because if we can have people being part of an entry level club, or whatever one wants to call it, then our hope is that they will like the product a lot, and that they will then start buying other products with us, and will become a long-term loyal owner or member, like so many people of those 100,000. So we started Karma Club, and essentially what we've done is it's a membership plan which lasts for a year. To new clients, we give it away free for the first year and say try it, so there's really no downside. After that time, there's a modest fee on it. We're looking at about $4.99 US, I believe, but don't quote me on that. My marketing people may give me some problems to say that, but that's the sort of price. And what does it do? Well, essentially it gives discounts and lots of benefits to come and experience our product. So it allows people to get a discount on accommodation, on food and beverage. It allows access to various special events that we run, whether it be sporting or music business. As you know, we work with the band Iron Maiden on our new Karma Sanctum venture in London and elsewhere. And so recently they had a concert in London at the O2, and we had special benefits for people to be able to go to that. We've just re-signed a deal with England Rugby Sevens, and so we'll be having a box at Sevens games that people can go to that. So there's a benefits around it as a lifestyle club. We opened up a customer services office to manage it in Athens. And we started off quite modestly. We spoke to other people that operate similar clubs, whether it be American Express or Quintessentially, and there are other lifestyle clubs out there, about our expectations. And they kind of laughed, to be honest, because I thought in the first year we would attract 10,000 families, 10,000 members, so probably that's about 30,000 people in total. And they all thought I was delusional, but then, you know, a lot of people do. But in the first 18 months, I can tell you that it's over 42,000 families are now Karma Club members, which represents about 120,000 people. So we've vastly exceeded budget and expectations. It's a program which is still in its early stages because it's only 14 months old. The office has grown to about 60 people in Athens, and we're very proud actually to be one of the only people going into Athens, starting an office and employing people. I think the mayor is very pleased with us, but it's actually very nice because one of the great things about Athens is the quality of the staff there is superb, and they are so friendly and so keen to work and speak many languages, and it's obviously a tragedy, the problems and the crisis which has occurred there, but we're very happy to go in and do our office there. So going back to what I said, we have a big office now, we have a big member base, we're growing about, I think, 800 a week or 1,000 members a week. And we see that being very interesting because already a lot of the members that became Karma Club members see the benefit, see the value, and are buying other products with us, are recommending friends and family, are providing referrals. And we actually do see quite soon an opportunity for something which I would love to have. We very soon anticipate that the only way people will be able to use our products, whether it be stay in my resorts or come to the bars or have a drink or whatever it may be, the only way is if you're a member of one of our clubs. And that would be a fantastic space to be in. You know, at the moment we do offer non-members the right to come and stay with us from time to time. We do have empty space and we clearly have to be commercial. But one of my visions has and still remains to be truly a 100% pure private members club, that the only way that you can come and interact with us in any form is by being a member of one of our products. And I think that time is not long away, to be honest. So the Karma Club has been great, very excited, very pleased. I think everyone's done a fantastic job on it, and I think we're really seeing a lot of value in that at the moment. There's a lot going on which is slightly away from the normal field, whether it be products or work that I personally have been doing. I mean, in terms of products, I'm very proud of our new wine. Again, it's slightly a bit of a passion of mine, wine, which maybe you can guess, but also slightly, I think a lot of our clients like it. We trialled a few years ago doing some rosé, which we call Caramel Splash, that worked fantastically and flew out the door. So this year we've got 3 wines. We've got Karma Rosé, which will be a Karma Splash, which comes down from Provence, very near Previgère, the resort that we have near Saint-Tropez. That will be about 5,000 bottles, similar style to last year. They call it swimming pool wine down there, so it's quite simple, easy, pleasant wines to have any time of the day. What we're also going to be doing is producing a fantastic red wine. People that like red wine and particularly like Bordeaux will know Chateau Lynch-Barge, which is one of the most famous producers down there. And I managed to meet the people there, and we did a deal that essentially they produced wine for us to our specifications. So Bordeaux is a blend of several grapes. Chateau Lynch-Barge owns some of the best vineyards in Bordeaux. We worked with the winemaker to produce a Karma version of a Lynch-Barge, which I think is going to be tremendous. I'm happy to go down there and test it or sign off on it in a couple of weeks, so that'll be available. And we've also done a champagne. Well, I can't really say it's champagne because it's made in England, bizarrely, but through a strange quirk of fate, the South Downs in England are exactly the same geologically and climactically now with global warming as the chalk hills in Champagne. And for a number of years, they've been making wine in Sussex, in England, which is not only as good as, but some people say better than some champagne. And it's bizarre because I was born and brought up near Brighton, and every day of my childhood looked up at these South Downs. Vic Faulkner also was born and brought up just down the other side of the road from the South Downs. So it is quite a strange twist of fate that we managed to find and do a deal with a person who owns a vineyard literally on the South Downs near where I was born and brought up, near Brighton. And we've produced our first batch of, I think it's 1,000 bottles, but a number of bottles which is now being launched and released as a English version of a champagne. So yeah, we like wine. We also are doing various other things in the company to release other related products to our industry in fashion. We're working with some fashion designers to do some bikinis and swimsuits and sarongs and wraps and various other areas. For myself personally, I have been very pleased to be involved in some areas outside the day-to-day operations, particularly in architecture. A number of years ago, I was very privileged and honoured to be given a fellowship to Yale University, and I was the Edward Peabass Fellow at the Yale University Graduate School of Architecture, which is quite ironic because I'm a university dropout, of course. So when I turned up and gave the commencement address, as they call it, to the whole school, which is slightly Hogwarts-like, with all the professors in their outfits and hats and what have you, I felt a combination of proud and a little bit intimidated. But that's been an amazing experience. Teaching at Yale has just been tremendous, and I think I got a lot more out of it than I've given the students. Well, maybe, but I've certainly got a lot out of it. As a result of that, I now also teach at the business school there, which I think is more about how not to do things rather than how to do things, but it does provide a very good balance for the students to hear some real-life entrepreneurial experience as well as what they're taught. And I also taught over in UCLA, over in Los Angeles, which again was a great experience. And I can reveal, which I haven't even told my wife, that I've been offered a similar gig at the University of Pennsylvania, which is an Ivy League school in Philadelphia. So I do enjoy teaching, and I never thought I would say that. If you'd asked me 5 years ago, I'd have said you are insane that I would see myself being a teacher. But I find it very gratifying, and as I say, I learn a lot from the students, because we're talking 24, 25-year-old students, mostly. And I look forward to carrying that on. And it has had a benefit in the company, particularly from architecture. I mean, again, I was quite proud. I see this, a couple of books have been published about my courses. This was from the Yale University. But through it, I've met some amazing architects who are now working on our projects. And so Georgina, who was the co-professor on this book, is now working on our Bali project in Kandara. Patrick Bellew, who I taught with at Yale, who is probably the world's most important, or certainly influential, sustainable engineer and architect. He did something in Singapore called the super trees and the greenhouse and the gardens. He's working with us on looking at how we make our resorts more eco, more self-sustainable, less footprint damaging, and what have you. So as well as me enjoying very much teaching and being involved in academia and working with architects and business leaders, I think there's a huge spin-off to the company, and to be candid, adds a lot of credibility. I think that the fact that we're doing these things out there distances us a lot from a lot of other companies that are hoteliers or club membership clubs or whatever it is in that space. And the other thing which I've got a lot out of is the Entrepreneur of the Year program. I won it for Australia a number of years ago, which I was very proud of. And since then I've been a judge and involved in the international program for many years, more years I like to admit. I think I did it for 3 years in Australia, in Monaco, in England, and that's been great because A, I enjoy mentoring other entrepreneurs, and it's very good to be able to help people, and B, the people I've met have been fantastic. I mean, there are some seriously good entrepreneurs out there, and again, through that I've formed friendships, and some of them have helped us in our business and have helped the company grow. Yeah, I mean, philanthropy, I think, is something very close to my heart. I think I often get very surprised that other companies don't do more. It's not for me to judge, it's entirely up to other companies and other successful business people. But I very much work personally on a philosophy of there, but for the grace of God go I. And, I think I find it very hard to look at some of the tragedy in the world and the suffering and the problems and not think there's a certain moral, ethical, human, I suppose, responsibility to help in whatever way one can. And I think it's getting worse. I mean, there seem to be more and more problems occurring in the world. So yeah, we take a very serious view of this. We have a lot of charities that we support, but there are several which we're particularly passionate about. Crystal House in Bangalore, of course, is a key one. We've been involved in that in many, many years. It was started by Crystal Dahan, as a friend of mine, a lady in her 70s that sold her company for a lot of money a number of years ago, and took a very large percentage of that money and started this chain of schools around the world that very much work on the philosophy that you can give a man a fish and you'll feed him today, but if you teach him to fish, then he'll be able to eat forever. And it's about providing a total education package for children that are from 5 years old till 17 years old. We're very proud to be the major sponsor in India, and we have been since the beginning. There's 900 children who are just sitting there. We have a school in Bangalore where they're educated and fed, and these are kids who are either street kids or these are kids who orphans or come from horrific tragedies. So at the end of the day, what it does is they soak up the knowledge, they start off with no education, and they come out at 17 and they're able to get jobs. We're actually very proud to employ quite a few of them as well for ourselves. So that's great. Not only do I like it, staff like it, our clients enjoy it. We do one event actually each a year where we bring a lot of the kids, not all of them, there's too many, to one of our resorts in Bali. We call it Camp Royal. And for a week, we give them a great holiday. And a lot of our clients volunteer, and they want to come and be the maids and the waitresses and look after these kids. And these are kids that have never even been out of the slum or Bangalore. And for them to see the beach and to see the sea is just a fantastic experience. So that's really good. Elsewhere, we've got charities down in Bali. We have an orphanage there, which we work very closely with. And wherever we go, we try and find a local relevant charity. We're working with one in Vietnam at the moment, because I do believe it's important to give back to the local communities. I mean, we are the stranger. We go into places, whether it be Goa or it be Vietnam or Phuket or it be Bali or wherever it is, and we really want to go the extra mile to help the community, employ the people, give money into the community, work with local charities to make sure they understand that we're very grateful to be the guests there, whether it's us being the business guest or our clients' guests on a 1 or 2 week basis. And I do think it's important to create that relationship with the locals. And I think it's worked well. I mean, people over the years have said to me, it's now almost 25 years, how have you been able to work in so many different countries? Because often companies fail at that. And I think a lot of it is having the respect to work with the local community and for them to see that you can add value rather than you're just going in there to make money. And I think some companies suffer from having that attitude and that viewpoint. So philanthropy, I think, is vital. And I'm about to appoint a senior board member as the philanthropy director, and part of their role will be to run those programs. And as we go forward, I look forward to a lot of other initiatives that will help us grow in that space.